Welcome to the podcast. If you'd like to listen to an ad-free version of this episode and all of our episodes, then search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. That's our premium channel where all of our ad-free and advanced episodes live, all in one place. True Crime Today Premium Plus. Search it on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. Even try it for 3 days free.
You're about to take a deep dive into one of the biggest true crime cases in the universe. Or, at least, on our part of the planet. From the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today.
José Menendez was a man of immense ambition, relentless discipline, and unwavering determination. He had come to the United States as a teenager, leaving behind the political unrest of Cuba to carve out a life of success in a foreign land. To those on the outside, José was the embodiment of the American dream. A man who had worked his way up from nothing to become a powerful executive, a doting father, and a provider of a lavish lifestyle for his family. But behind the facade of success and prestige, a much darker reality was allegedly unfolding, one that would ultimately lead to his and his wife Kitty's brutal murders at the hands of their own sons, Lyle and Erik Menendez. Born in Havana in 1944, José's early life was shaped by the turbulence of a Cuba in transition. His father, a successful accountant, and his mother, a celebrated swimmer, provided him with a privileged upbringing. However, according to those who knew the family, José's early years were marked by a streak of defiance and a sense of entitlement, especially as the only son in a family of women. He was spoiled by his mother, who doted on him and encouraged a sense of machismo that would follow him into adulthood. Neighbors recalled him as a troublemaker, a boy who was difficult to control and prone to bullying. In 1959, when José was just 15, Fidel Castro's rise to power changed everything. Like many wealthy families, the Menendezes feared the new regime and decided to send José to the United States for his safety. Alone in a new country, José found himself living in his cousin's attic in Hazleton, Pennsylvania. He didn't speak English and struggled to fit in, but he was determined to make something of himself. He threw himself into his studies and swimming, a talent inherited from his mother, and eventually earned an athletic scholarship to Southern Illinois University. It was during his time at Southern Illinois that José met Mary Louise "Kitty" Anderson. She was a senior, 2 years older than the freshman José, but the attraction was immediate. Despite objections from José's family, who believed he was too young to marry, the couple wed in 1963 and soon moved to New York City, where José transferred to Queens College to pursue an accounting degree. By the late 1960s, they had started a family. Their first son, Lyle, was born in 1968, followed by Erik 2 years later. José's ambition to succeed in America only intensified as his family grew. After graduating, he landed a job at the accounting firm Coopers & Lybrand, where he quickly impressed his superiors. His work ethic, combined with his ability to build connections, led him to secure a role as the comptroller for Lyons Container Service in Illinois. Within 3 years, José had become the company's president. But that was just the beginning. By his mid-30s, José had ascended to the role of executive vice president of U.S. operations for Hertz, a subsidiary of RCA, one of the world's largest consumer electronics companies. In the years that followed, he moved into RCA's record division, where he oversaw operations for their Latin music catalog and helped sign some of the biggest names in entertainment, including Duran Duran and the boy band Menudo. His success enabled the family to move to the affluent suburbs of Los Angeles and eventually Beverly Hills. But while José's professional life was a story of upward mobility and influence, his home life was a different story. According to his sons, the same relentless drive that had pushed José to the top of the corporate ladder also made him a harsh and demanding father. Lyle and Erik would later claim that José's need for control extended into every aspect of their lives, from their academics to their sports and even their personal relationships. Growing up, both Lyle and Erik showed athletic promise, excelling in swimming and later tennis. José took it upon himself to coach them, pushing them harder than anyone else. But his methods were, by all accounts, brutal. Erik's former swimming coach recalled seeing José scream at his son by the poolside, berating him even after he had won his races. It wasn't just that he wanted them to win. the coach said. He wanted them to be perfect. But instead of building their confidence, it seemed like he was breaking it down. José's control over his sons didn't stop at sports. When Lyle and Erik were caught burglarizing homes in their new California neighborhood, José stepped in to shield them from the consequences. Erik took the blame, receiving probation, while Lyle remained unscathed to protect his future. Later, when Lyle was caught plagiarizing at Princeton University and was suspended for a year, José insisted that he stay in New Jersey and keep the incident quiet, unwilling to let the family's reputation suffer. The tension between father and sons continued to grow, particularly with Lyle, who clashed with his father over his relationships with women. By the time of José and Kitty's murders in 1989, Lyle had moved out of the main house and into the guest house on the property, a physical manifestation of the emotional distance between them. The murders of José and Kitty Menendez shocked the nation. On August 20, 1989, Lyle and Erik shot their parents to death in their Beverly Hills mansion. The crime scene was horrific, and for a time, the police suspected a professional hit. But 6 months later, the brothers were arrested and charged with first-degree murder. It was during their trials that the full extent of the alleged dysfunction within the Menendez family came to light. The defense team, led by attorney Leslie Abramson, argued that Lyle and Erik had killed their parents out of fear for their own lives. According to their testimony, José had sexually abused both boys for years. Lyle claimed that the abuse began when he was 6 years old and continued until he was 8, while Erik testified that the abuse went on for more than a decade, lasting until he was 18. Both brothers described a father who was not only physically abusive, but also emotionally manipulative, using his power and control to keep them silent about the horrors they were enduring. Lyle told the court that José had punched him in the face, stomach, and even whipped him with a belt. But it was the allegations of sexual abuse that were the most disturbing. The brothers painted a picture of a father who had maintained a terrifying grip on their lives, using fear to keep them in line. According to their testimony, it was only when they feared that José would kill them to keep his secrets hidden that they decided to take deadly action. Despite the shocking nature of their allegations, the first trials ended in hung juries. During the brothers' retrial, the focus shifted away from the abuse claims, and they were both convicted of first-degree murder in 1996. While the brothers' claims were never fully substantiated in court, new evidence has emerged over the years that has given weight to their allegations. In 2018, journalist Robert Rand uncovered a letter Erik had written to his cousin a year before the murders. In the letter, Erik described ongoing abuse at the hands of his father. This letter, which had not been presented during the trial, added a layer of credibility to the brothers' claims that they had been living in fear of their father. And then, in 2023, even more damning allegations against José came to light. Roy Rosello, a former member of Menudo, the boy band José had helped sign, came forward with accusations that José had raped him when he was just 14 years old. Rosello's claims, made in the documentary Menendez plus Menudo, Boys Betrayed, brought renewed attention to the Menendez case, casting José in an even darker light. "I know what he did to me in his house," Rosello said, providing chilling details of the alleged assault. The revelations about José Menendez, both during the trial and in the years since, have complicated his legacy. Once seen as a successful businessman and devoted father, he is now remembered as a figure of immense power who allegedly used that power to control, manipulate, and harm those closest to him. For many, the true nature of José Menendez remains a mystery. Was he the driven immigrant who achieved the American dream, or was he, as his sons claimed, a monster hiding behind a veneer of success? What remains clear is that the Menendez brothers' story, and the allegations they made about their father, continues to captivate and disturb the public. The full truth of what happened inside the Menendez household may never be known, but the tragedy that unfolded in that Beverly Hills mansion on August 20th, 1989, has left an indelible mark on the American psyche.
In a world where the darkest secrets lie just beneath the surface,
They said it was an accident, but the evidence says otherwise.
where hidden killers roam unnoticed, in the shadows.
I think you would definitely be looking at a blend of toxic, very bad narcissistic personality traits, and they will be vengeful and possibly resort to violence.
Join Tony Bruschi as he uncovers the truth behind the most chilling cases.
They said it was an accident, but the evidence clearly says otherwise.
Each episode, we dig deep into the minds of those who commit the unthinkable.
To your point on narcissism, he thinks in his own mind how witty he is.
Yeah.
But he lost that jury. I was done with him in 2 minutes.
From unsolved mysteries to infamous crimes.
Geez, you've just talked about how you've taught yourself how to do everything under the sun. I bet you did a YouTube video, how to best kill somebody with a knife.
Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi takes you where few dare to go.
How does someone with such a dark secret go unnoticed for so long?
With multiple new episodes every single day.
We're not just telling stories, we're seeking justice.
Listen now on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi.